Good morning and welcome to lesson 1. We're glad you're here because if you're here, that means you want to know more. Today's lesson, we're going to be focusing mainly on the structure of music. Basically, the two factors that create music structure are time and timbre. And if you're not familiar with what timbre is the sound elevation that different instrumentations make, all the way from the low bass instruments all the way up to the high soprano instruments. And today we're going to be focusing, starting on mainly the timbre or the scale structure. So we're glad you come along and we hope you enjoy your time with us. A scale, as you probably know, is nothing more than a logical sequence of tones. And it can generally be described as a progress up a timbre line, or a timbre. Basically, what a scale is just this. That is a major scale. Regardless of what instrument you play, a scale is going to be constructed the same way. It is going to be constructed from several different factors depending on what scale you are using or what mode you are using, and we'll get into all that later on down the line. But suffice it to say for right now, a scale is just a logical progression of tones or timbre to get to a specific means. Whether you're going up or down, a scale is going to be the same structure. Now, structures of scales are going to be the same regardless of where you're at on the scale. And the way scales work is a set structure of increments to define what the scale is. An example, a major scale starts off, let's say we're going to start off on the E string. With this string right here. We're going to start that off open. So here we have the first note of the E scale. The second note is going to be a specific increment, or as we say, a step. Now, if you look at the way music is designed, it's designed in half steps. That would be a half step. And then from there to there would be a half step. From there to there would be a half step. This is a lot easier to see on a piano. As we see here, there's the same E note as the E string on the bass, but you can see each note, those are half steps. That's a half step, that's a half step, that's a half step, and so on. Whenever you put two half steps together, you get a whole step. So from here to here would be a whole step. From here to here would be a whole step. On the piano, just like on the bass, we skip one to the whole step, skip one to the whole step again, and so on and so forth. Now, the structure of a scale is going to be in this format for a major scale. It will be whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So as we demonstrate, we have whole, whole, half. This will be the same as the string right above it. So then we continue on after our half into a whole, another whole, another whole, and then the last half. Now, the 5th fret on a guitar or bass is always the same as the next string above, with the exception of one string on a guitar. So if you put your whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half together, you'll make a major scale. On the piano, we can see this as whole, whole, Then we go here for the half, and then whole, 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 half. There's your E scale on a piano. And here we can see the scale being played in both bass and treble clef. We'll get into the staff and the notes on the staff and how to write the music in another lesson, but that's what it would look like. Now here's the really cool thing. I'm sure many of you, if you've ever been around music, you've heard of the Nashville Numbering System. Well, this is how that works. Number 1 will always be your bass note. 2 will be your second note. 3, 4, 5, and so on. So if you've heard someone talking before about it's a 1-4-5 pattern, then that means that the chord progression on that will be the first chord, which is the root of the scale, and then it will be the 4th, and then it will be the 5th. And that's usually the way it goes. Like that. And that was a 1-4-5 scale pattern. Sometimes you might hear someone say a 1-6-4-5 pattern. And I'm going to just play this on the piano, but hopefully you'll get it. We thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope that you found this lesson informative. If you have, go ahead and give us a thumbs up and let us know that you liked it. If you still got questions, comment below in the comment box, and we will be sure to get back to you as soon as possible. Also, if you find these lessons useful, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right down there in the bottom corner, and that way you'll be notified whenever you hit the little bell right next to it whenever we come out with a new lesson. We're glad you're here, and we thank you very much for participating with us today. Have a good day, and always keep it funky.